What's up, guys? This is Beyond the Woodline. I'm your host, Joe the Host, and my always talented and beautiful co-host, Shannon Rogers, is here. Dark Hallows is just logged on too, so let me get them on real quick, Shannon.
Okay.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
You know what? Hold on, I can fix this. Let's see. There we go.
Yay.
Let me
It's a little better.
do some adjusting over here.
Yeah.
Hi, how are y'all?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hey, what are your guys' names?
Go ahead.
I'm Megan. This
I'm
is
Jennifer.
Megan and Jennifer. Okay, cool. Yeah, I probably didn't get enough details prior to that, but yeah, and we went ahead. We started just a few. Man, we started a few minutes earlier. We're like, well, we'll let them log on, and once they log on, we'll add them on. And as soon as I went live, you guys clicked on. So
No, you're okay.
okay.
Yeah, the first time I logged on with Joe when I was a guest for him, I couldn't figure it out. I was having a lot of trouble. It was not letting me, but it worked out. So thanks, guys, for being on today.
Yeah,
This
no
is
problem.
this is Michelle saying hello.
Hey, Michelle.
This was a little bit of a learning process for us because we haven't done a podcast like this before. So
Okay.
Well, welcome.
Yeah. We're glad to have you on. That's for sure. You know, especially you guys being here in Texas. I like talking to people from my
Right.
home state. You know, I'm here in Houston, and Shannon's up in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
okay.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yes. Yeah.
We're in San Antonio. Well, she's in San Antonio. I'm in Canyon Lake. But
Oh, I love it up there.
Yeah, we have two other members, but they're not here. Three
Okay.
other members.
Are all you guys from Texas?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, man. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says you ladies will do an awesome. I guess we'll do awesome. Oh, there he goes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but it's hard to tell who's who because it just says Facebook user, and they have to get permission to StreamYard to use their.
Their name.
Yeah, you have to use their name.
Joe's tongue-tied today.
Yeah, I'm
I love
tongue-tied.
it.
Yeah, I bet you do.
We pick on each other a lot, so
Yeah,
bear
we
with
pick
us.
on each other quite a bit, so that's just the kind of people we are, and we can take it. So if you guys want to pick on us, that's fine too. It's usually the Shannon getting the brunt of it, but
Yeah, usually it's true. He's
so
like,
big dog, that's big dog. So how long
Big
have you guys been involved in the paranormal?
Oh, goodness.
Well, at least on our own, individually, probably 10 or so
11
years.
years.
Oh wow,
awesome.
Together for,
Since 2017.
yep.
That's
okay,
awesome.
okay, cool, man. And is that when y'all became Dark Hallows, or?
Yeah, we didn't actually create a Facebook page or start doing any kind of marketing or anything like that till like 2018.
Okay, that's cool. Well, that's cool. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what got you started. And it doesn't matter who goes first.
Go ahead. Well, I see ghosts. I see them just like normal people walking by, and so I've kind of always been impacted by it. I've always been interested in the paranormal, and yeah, I started getting into ghost hunts. That's how we kind of crossed paths. Was I went to an event by myself and met someone who we used to be involved with before we made our own team. And we kind of took it from there. And I'm a military veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. There's another member on our team that's also a veteran. And yeah, I mean, we just, each one of us has been interested in our own way in the paranormal. And we became friends. And we were like, hey, we could do this. We could take people out. We think they'd be into it. And
Right on. Yeah.
so far, I think we do a pretty good job, but our events are a little bit different from what other people do. We make like full dinners. You get the equipment, you get a class on how to use the equipment, and then we post evidence and things like that.
Awesome.
I am a mom of three. I have three beautiful girls. I had some childhood experiences when I was younger. We had some family members pass away, and we had some things happen on holidays, and it piqued my curiosity. And I started studying it, learning it. And again, like she said, I went out on my own with some other friends and started learning how to do it. Met her, we crossed paths, and we all sat down together and developed our team. And then we decided we wanted to be different. We wanted it to be all inclusive and everyone to share their experiences and to be able to learn and use things. And we've just kind of grown from there, honestly, and become
Right.
what we have.
We like for people to show up and feel like they're part of the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one is which again? Megan and Jennifer?
I'm Jennifer.
You're Jennifer? It was Megan. Okay. Okay, good.
He's so awkward.
Yeah.
That's all right. We are too.
Yeah, Megan. So, what was like one of your earliest, I guess, validations or confirmation for you that there was something paranormal out in this world?
When I was a kid, I would always see things and I would tell my mom, and she kind of knew that I could see them before I did, but she didn't know how to talk to me about it. And as I became a teenager, it became more apparent to me. Like I find it's like it clicked. Sometimes entities, when I come across them, they show me what they went through, like their death. And I had this one instance where I was sitting in my car in my high school parking lot, and I looked to my right, and there was a girl sitting next to me in my car, and all of a sudden she just leaned her head forward, and it was like her head flopped, and the back of her whole neck was cut open.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as it happened, she was gone. And I was just like, my heart was racing, and I was just like, okay, these are definitely dead people.
That's cool, though.
Were you driving, or you just sitting in the car, or was it parked?
It was parked. My car wasn't even on. I had just got into my car. I was about to head to work, and it was like I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. I think I was trying to text, and at that time we had to do T9, so it's like you push the button so many times to get to like T.
Right.
And concentrated on that, and then I noticed like there was somebody next to me, and that's when I looked to the side, and yeah, it really freaked me out. Now as an adult, and I've kind of gotten used to it, I'm not really afraid of it, but sometimes I'll see people and I do a double take, and I'm just like, oh, they're not really there. Okay.
What about you, Jennifer?
I think for me, it was after I lost my grandparents. We used to have family Christmases at their house every year. And the year after they passed, we did it at my aunt's. And the whole family was there, and our doorbell kept ringing, and everyone kept going to the door. There was never anyone at the door. My mother and my aunt were pretty upset. And I remember walking into the living room and listening to them have a discussion about how the doorbell kept ringing, but there weren't any footprints in the snow. And my mother looked at me and said, "Your grandma's here." And it just piqued everything for me, because I had heard the doorbell and I thought someone had came, but there was nothing ever there. So it was kind of her way of letting us know that she was with us. And that's kind of what started the whole thing for me.
Right. See, y'all do events, right? You just like,
yeah, we do private investigations on our own, where we go to places and collect evidence for ourselves, and then we also host events for the public.
I gotcha. I do that. I love it. I love hosting events. So
much
fun. It is so much fun. I know, I feel like a kid getting up every weekend, going into a different place. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Where do y'all typically investigate as far as where you do your events and everything?
We do all over. Sometimes we'll work out a deal where a property will be featured on our calendar more than once. But right now, we're looking for a new venue to try to lock down so that we can have regular visits out there. There's been a lot of interest closer to home, though.
Right.
A lot of interest in San Antonio and a lot of interest in Louisiana. And this last year, we went to a new location in Louisiana, right on the border of Texas and Louisiana. And so we've had a lot of interest in people asking, like, when are you going back? We want to go. And that was an event that we didn't really take anybody to. We took a handful of people.
Right.
But it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing location.
We like to work new properties on, but first we usually do a private hunt so that we're familiar with it before we will open it up and sell tickets or plan an event around that property.
Right.
And typically, in order to be a property where we will regularly host events there, we look for something like with a kitchen. Because again, we cook full dinners. So you don't just come and do your hunt. We're there from
yummy.
8 p.m. We do a whole layout, drinks, everything. And then you get to stay there, and we don't make people leave until it's time for us to leave.
Right. I like to try to find places that are overnight, like the old Park Hotel. Like, give them a place to stay and have a really good time.
Yeah,
I love it there.
We go there a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that y'all cook. That's something I'm interested in now.
Well, I don't know about you, but like when I first moved here, I did the typical ghost walk, and I just felt like I was paying so much to go do something, and I wasn't really getting a lot out of it. So when we sat down and had this discussion, it was very important to us that whatever we do, people get the most value for their money. So, I mean, we go all out when we do an event. And then by the time everyone leaves, the goal is that they feel like family and they keep coming back, and they don't feel like they're just following us along, observing. They're able to interact, use the equipment, see what they've caught. It's really worked for us.
We've even done bonfire style things where we bring like a little fire pit, and we'll do hot dogs and s'mores if there's no kitchen in the location. But I mean, Jennifer's made a full-on lasagna before, and I did pulled pork, and that was like a back-to-back thing. So we did pulled pork for one, and then it was Saturday was the lasagna, and we also do dessert. And then for breakfast, we try to do some kind of like pastry and coffee options. I mean, we go all out. We want people to feel like they're getting
the most value.
out of their money.
Yeah.
Right. And now there's a lot of other groups that are trying to do the same kind of thing. No one really thought like, hey, let's do food and snacks. And now that we did it, and they see like we have so many loyal people coming out, and I mean,
it's just amazing who we've met along this journey. I mean, they're great people.
Right. So you guys mentioned the spot in Louisiana. Can you talk about that area, or?
We do some work with a gentleman named Dakota Lawrence. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
I'm not.
It sounds familiar.
He is actually, he's been on television. He's very well known. He's become one of our dearest friends, honestly. He used to host events at Logan Mansion in Louisiana, and we used to go there all the time and run events with him. There's a place we love to go to. It's what we refer to as the Hanging Place. It's a newer place that's not very well known right now, and it's geez, how would you explain that? It's a very emotionally powerful location.
Right.
Like, just for instance, so we had some close friends of ours that we allowed to come on that trip with us.
We all went together, yeah.
And we were recording, and we had handed the camera to one of the members of this little group. And I'm walking around doing my initial walkthrough and my reading, and I'm not a crier. That's actually never happened before. But we're walking through this place, and it was like I felt so overcome with emotions. I broke down crying, And I told Jennifer, like, do not say, I can just feel something's making me cry, right? And this guy who's holding the camera, he slowly like turned it off and closed it up. And Jennifer's like, no, keep rolling, keep rolling.
Because I didn't want to miss anything. Yep. And first time walking in there, actually, within about the first 10 minutes, one of our partners, Chelsea, caught the most amazing EVP. It was a Class A. She was begging one of the wardens not to beat her cellmate, and she was in tears. I mean, it's very powerful, and I think it hit us all pretty emotionally that trip. It was a difficult night, but it was an amazing place, and we plan on going back this year.
But
Awesome.
You brought up Old Park a little while ago. We've actually had Dakota come out and do a gallery reading for our guests at Old Park for one of them.
Oh, sweet. You gotta love Connie and Dan. They're just amazing. I'm going back on the 3rd to do a fundraiser for them. It's like 70% of the ticket sales go to for the location and stuff, and it's also my birthday, so it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, they're very sweet people. I really enjoy them.
Yes.
Yeah, Shannon will be 82. Shannon, 82.
Yeah, something like that, Joe.
Okay.
I mean, 43, man, 43.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the other locations you've had fun investigating?
The old Lavaca County Jail in Hallettsville.
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Yorktown, Yoakum.
Actually, we just went to Yorktown in the middle of like that freeze that happened. Where
Right.
Oh, it was cold, I bet.
The whole town lost power. It was great.
Yeah, we're at Yorktown, which, you know, we have everything off, everything sealed up, and we're running back and forth people to go to go to this convenience store down the road. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting outside in my car waiting for people to come back out. And I'm like, Jennifer, the whole town just went. I said, the whole town has no power. The whole town. And
it was cold.
And I had brought this little floor heater and hooked it up in like the little lobby area of Yorktown. And the heater started beeping. And I was like, oh no, it's broken. It's too cold. The heater kept displaying 32. I was like, I know it's cold. It's not cold.
I guess the saying's true. When you want to investigate, you really rough it sometimes. It was so cold.
Well, I've been in Yorktown in the middle of summer, and it feels like you're melting. Mm-hmm. So
I was there 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had Michelle LeBaron come in to be my featured investigator. And one of my clients, he had demanded pretty much that I get a porta potty. That was like, I thought you wanted the full experience. This is what we do. We grab Walmart sacks and rolls of toilet paper. You know, that's not right. Every place has electricity or, you know, plumbing. It's just the way it is. Yeah. And some that do are, you'd rather go outside anyway. So it's like.
That's why we were running people back and forth to there's a gas station down the road that's open 24/7 now. And, we were shuttling people back. They would let us know, like, we have to go. And it's like, okay, let's go.
Hey, Rosie. Joe, she's going to be on with us when we're talk about the Paracon. We got the Temple Fear Fest Paracon 2021 coming up. So thanks for joining in, girl. But have y'all been to the Emily Morgan yet?
I've been inside the Emily Morgan, but I haven't stayed there. And we've been told that they're not open to paranormal investigation, so we haven't tried.
We got lucky. The guy working the counter, he gave us access down to what used to be the morgue. And also he let us go up on the rooftop where the crematory is up there on the very top. We got to go in it and up in the tower and all that stuff. We weren't supposed to, but he let us do it. And that was, we got a lot of activity that night. It was exceptionally awesome. And I feel very lucky that we were, that he let us do that.
Yeah, I wish they would let us hunt, but I mean, it's also such a large hotel. So I get it. I've also really wanted to do the Manger, but the Manger is like, no. But they do. It's funny. My mom has been there before for some kind of convention with her company. And the Manger brings people in to do a little ghost walk, and they walk you around the hotel, is what I was told. So I was like, man, we could come and do that. Tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of good stories from the Mangrove Hotel.
I haven't been there yet. I want to go. It's on my list.
You know, they put up a velvet rope and they rope off the old part of the Mangrove, so you can't actually stay in there. And what I was told by somebody who worked there was that no one's allowed to stay in that portion of the hotel because it's dangerous. Like, the people who run the hotel say that is where most of the activity happens, so they don't allow guests in
When
there.
has that ever
I know.
stopped us?
Yeah, no, that's so not fair.
I was like,
I know.
I'm like, well, just let us stay in the new part, and we swear we won't go over there. We'll stay
Wink,
in the
wink.
new part. Yeah.
Yeah, get a room as close to there as possible.
Be like, I'd be like, oh, do y'all have cameras in the
I
old
can
part?
fall over the roof. I mean, I'm good at falling.
I'll push her over and be like, oh, look at that, Jennifer. Let me come help you. No, don't get up. Stay there. I'll come to you.
Yeah. It's dangerous. You need help.
You know, during the COVID lockdown and everything, I you know, you can tell on Facebook, everyone up north really had a hard time being able to investigate. But I think we were lucky down here. I investigated 10 times more during COVID than I did. It's
none of our event, like every event we still held during COVID, we were very lucky. People still showed up. We didn't have to cancel any event. I have heard of a bunch of other teams having to cancel, so I was like, well, thank God. We had more people calling and asking, like, are you going to cancel it? What's going to happen if you cancel? And our whole thing was like, we tried to be very cautious. You know, we told people wear masks. We even took out like gallons of hand sanitizer that we would set up everywhere. And we brought out digital thermometers to take everybody's temperature. And so as they would check in on like the front, you know, we'd be taking their temperature. And really no one chose to skip the event. So, oh wait, no, we did have one lady, but she sent her friend instead. She had bought a ticket and she said she wasn't feeling well the night before, but instead of asking, you know, trying to cancel her ticket, she actually sent her friend in her place. And we were just like, yeah, we're open to that. That's fine.
Yeah, we went to a bunch of places on our own too.
Yeah,
which was nice.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We really did get lucky. Nobody really closed, I don't think, permanently.
Not down here. I feel very honored that we were able to stay open like we were. So,
me too.
Yeah, we just looked at it as an opportunity to spend more time with our team.
Yeah, exactly. I actually got Joe out during COVID for Haunted Hill House. That was his only investigation. So, are you frozen or are you just not talking?
No, I'm good. I'm listening.
No, it looked like you were frozen.
But well, on our end, y'all are both frozen, but we can hear you fine. So.
Oh, got you. Let me check that out over here. Let me check that out.
Yeah, I went to Haunted Hill House. That was my first official investigation. That was with Shannon. So that was pretty cool. That was a cool little spot. I like that. So I want to go back there again. Have you guys been to that one?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that was
we've hosted a couple of Halloween events there.
Yeah.
And I think we've even done our Valentine. So we also, besides our annual Halloween event, we also host an annual Valentine's event.
Yeah.
And so we try to market that, like, bring your loved one with you and have dinner, do your ghost hunt. But most people still bring their friends.
Yeah.
Do you ever do like themed events or anything like that? Do masquerades and stuff like that?
Yes, we do. The Halloween events, Jen normally puts a lot of work together to do trivia. All of our events,
that's nice.
Usually we do gift baskets and a raffle, and our Valentine's event is also always themed. It's My Bloody Valentine, and then we pick like last year's My Bloody Valentine. You're just what the doctor ordered, and it was a Yorktown. Yeah, that was Yorktown.
Yep.
Yeah, that was in the middle of the free. That was what it was called. But
I mean, Yeah.
Did y'all have any break-ins when you were at Yorktown while you were there?
No.
Oh my gosh, we had some intruders. We had to call the cops. It was bad.
I
No,
was,
it was bad. It was really bad. It was pouring down rain.
I think because it was so cold.
Yeah, people were getting
Nobody
out.
was trying to go in there.
I have photos and evidence from maybe 6 years ago. So to see the drastic difference between then and now was just unbelievable.
Oh, well, I will say that when we were there, we saw signs of people maybe
Cohabitating in there.
yeah.
Hmm.
And we just assumed that maybe our presence and all of the vehicles outside probably scared them away. But I mean, there were stashes of candles and clothing that wasn't dirty, didn't have any dust on it. And I was just like, no.
Yeah, they have an alarm in there now, and so what the police told me and what the caretaker told me is that people will actually, because when there's events, the alarm's off. So
that makes sense.
So now, and there's ways of entry for people to get in there, and I'm like, because everybody had left, and Michelle LeBaron and I were going to sleep there, and there were two other ladies that were with us, and we were gonna do one more go through, and then they were gonna go out to their car and sleep. Well, we got all of our stuff packed up to go, just have it ready and clean and organized, and then we got what we wanted to take personally on that little walk through again, and we hear a thump, and then another one, and we're like, what is that? And then we hear men talking, and it's like, okay, we know that we're in a haunted venue location, but we know what people actually sound like.
Yeah.
And we started getting really creeped out. And they're like, when I tried to call Bio, the guy that was there, he was asleep in his car, and like he wouldn't answer the phone. So I'm like, I'm calling the cops. Like, I don't care, because we're 4 females by ourselves, and come to find out that like the people in the apartments behind there's a lot of meth use and stuff like that. So I can just imagine Michelle and I asleep in the basement when some people come in and we're like trapped down in the basement. So I'm glad we did. I'm glad we made the decision that we did, because the cops say like they'll come, the people will leave, and they saw flashlights in there when we cleared it all out. But when the cops leave, they come right back in. So it's like
that's a shame. I mean, it is really a cool
location. I agree completely.
It is the coolest. I go in there, and the first thing I start thinking about is all the ways I can clean it up and fix it. I mean, the history alone is amazing for that spot. And I really, truly believe that all that stuff should be preserved as best as possible.
Well, see, the first time I even went to Yorktown was years ago, before this caretaker. I call him the new caretaker, but I think he's been there for a while. But it was someone else before him, and it was before they had sealed it all up. And I was walking around, and I came upon like the emergency room door area, and it was just wide open. And that's when it hit me, and I was like, oh, there could be people in here.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around by myself in the dark. And now it's all like they've done a pretty good job about boarding everything up, but I can definitely see where people could still be getting in.
There are like 3 different places.
Yeah. So, and where there's a will, there's a way,
Yeah. So it was a very interesting location. We got some really good activity, a lot of funny moments too. We someone brought a bottle of some narcotics, because it used to also be a rehab. Yeah, we went back there towards the ER, and sort of shaking it. Hey, I got some codeine, whatever she said. You want some? That like the lights started, everything started going off, the devices and stuff like that. And yeah, there's been so many different stories of what's happened there. It's interesting. So.
That's probably the only location that's ever put me on edge that we've ever been to. And I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet.
I felt that way in the chapel from that room behind the piano or the organ. I felt something.
That's where it was for me as well. I was sitting there by myself actually I was with another lady at the time. This was before we were even a team. And it sounded like someone was bum rushing me from that room back there. And it scared me, and I got on the walkies and was hollering at everyone to check, because like you, I thought someone had broke in, check the cars, make sure everything's fine, someone's in here, help. And they came right, there was no one there. No one outside, no one near the cars. And
well, remember that happened this last time too.
Yes.
We were sitting in the chapel, and I was like, I'm gonna come and sit next to you because I'm cold. And we're sitting there and we start hearing little noises coming from the
That
rooms
back
back there.
room.
And she's like, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I guess we have to go check it out." And there was nobody there.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
It's just
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about that chapel.
Mhm.
I was trying to do an Estes method and sitting there on the organ bench, facing the actual, the pews and stuff like that. And I couldn't because I felt that presence so much over my right shoulder. And I'm like going, like pointing, like, I'm like, I can't. I took them off. It's like, I can't focus on doing this because of what's going on over here. Like it was,
Right. Yeah.
I just got goosebumps from it. Yeah. I was like, no, he's there. He's there.
When we go there and we take people, I tell them like it's very normal to feel overwhelmed at
Mhm.
Yorktown, especially to feel physically ill.
Nauseous. Yeah.
Nauseous, headache. I've felt like somebody was strangling me in there before, and I've told them like, if you need to go outside for a couple of minutes. I promise you, the minute you walk away, you'll feel really
Feel better. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and then you can come back or whatever. This last time we went, everybody got a hotel booked. So, yeah, when they wanted to get out of there, we even called it early because it was just freezing. It was at a certain point, it became unbearable, and the really harsh weather was rolling in, and I think by the time we left, it was like 26 degrees outside.
Yeah, it was about
something.
4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, you're like, I fold, I'm done.
I couldn't feel my toes anymore.
Yeah. No. We couldn't feel anything. My fingers were frozen. My toes were frozen. Some of the guests were like huddling together on the couches in the lobby area. Everybody became very friendly.
Yeah, and they're like, isn't this fun? Yeah.
Best sleepover ever.
Yeah, they were like, all of a sudden it's like, come sit next to me. I'm cold. I need body heat. And my little floor heater is like, beep, beep.
Hi,
beep.
Rob.
Hello, Rob.
I was like, this heater is going to give out on us.
Yeah, at least you had that though, man. I was stuck for 10 days because we were doing a camp, like a paranormal camp out the first, year and first annual. Like 30 people were supposed to come. Joe was supposed to come. It was supposed to be in northern Louisiana and the Bonnie and Clyde Museum area.
Right.
And we were pitching tents in snow. Only 3 people showed up, me being one of them. But I mean, afterwards, it's like I was going to head home, but the weather was so bad back at home in Fort Worth. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I made it to Jefferson. I was like, I'm going to stay here. I was stuck at Jefferson for a week. I mean, so I'm like, my 3-4 day trip turned into 10, and I just wanted to get home so bad. But the owners are good friends of mine, so they fed me, and they never lost electricity. We had heat, but it was, I mean, frozen over here, frozen over there. Couldn't get on the road, and I just wanted to come back home and see my little baby.
Right.
It's part of our adventures, though. What we do, we just go.
I would much rather deal with the cold than the heat, though. I mean, like in the cold, at least you can keep adding stuff on. And in the heat, it's like there's only so much you could take off.
Yeah. Yeah. An old park in the summertime, oh my goodness. That place gets hot. Especially if you're having a fire event because it's been closed up all week. And so when they come to open it up, it is so hot in there. But it's just impossible to keep that place, cold. And
yeah.
Right.
The last time we went there, they had gone there right before us to turn on all of their little ACs and stuff. And I mean, it wasn't that bad. And it cooled down pretty quickly, but yeah, it can get pretty hot in there.
July and August.
Yeah.
It's like
swamp ass. I just really like the location because for us, it feels like we're actually, we're in a hotel. And I'm like, hey, we get an actual bed.
Yes. And next door, the food's pretty decent. Good breakfast. The breakfast is really good. I like to let everybody to get together and have a dinner at one big table and stuff. Yeah, it's a fun experience, and it's an easy 3-hour trip. It's because it's half highway, half back roads. Like
that's true. Yeah.
What are some places that y'all really want to like get into and start investigating? And what's on your list of like?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, we all have a big list, don't we?
I have a whole legal pad and computer. I have a file, to be honest.
There is a place though in East Texas that requires a 6-mile hike out to, and that's kind of
we're gonna do
in
it.
our relative future, we're planning on doing that. It's in a national forest, so there's only so far you can go in a vehicle, and because they don't think they've uncovered all of the artifacts that used to be this town because the forest took it back. You
Right.
can't drive over the land because you could damage something. So that's why they make you
Hi,
park
Donna.
in one area and then you have to hike into the site.
That sounds like right up my alley.
Yes. We've also talked about there's some wooded areas in some of the smaller towns here in Texas where they did perform some witchcraft rituals. Would that be the way to put it?
Yeah.
And we found the locations of where those actually are. So we're going to also hike those and find the altars and everything and do some investigating.
Sweet.
Our goal is not to continuously rotate the same standard set of places that are just the norm.
Yeah.
Although we do love them and we do go all the time, that different, exciting, thrilling, oh my gosh, we've never been here, let's run around like we're 12-year-olds and take pictures of everything. We miss that at the same time. So the things that we found are just, gosh, there's so much. I don't even know where to begin.
Well, plus my personal opinion on the subject is that the only haunted places are not places that are paid for, right?
Right.
A location should be haunted whether you had to pay to be there or not.
Right.
So I really think that people would be interested in a camping style event in the middle of nowhere. So that's kind of what we're trying to find something to add on the calendar for that. And just for us, like that one that's with a 6-mile hike, that's probably going to be a team only thing.
Oh man, I was like, sign me up.
Yeah. Hey,
get a hold of us after this.
You said it was in East Texas. Is that anywhere near Saratoga?
It's in the Angeles National Park.
Or Angelina?
There you go, Angelina.
Okay, yeah. That is kind of a spooky area. I've heard a lot of good stuff coming out of that area too. Yeah, as far as paranormal goes, there's a big Bigfoot area also. I think I told you guys that I'm a Bigfoot researcher, and that's one thing I always say to people. I think there's a lot more paranormal stuff that goes on in the woods that people mistake for Bigfoot, like stuff getting thrown at you, some of the vocals, some of the voices. One of the things that goes on in the Bigfoot world is what's called samurai chatter, where people can hear the Squatch talk, and they call it samurai chatter. And sometimes it's too far away to actually make it out. And I think sometimes some of those voices are paranormal, because I have people who have had like whispers in their ear when they're out, Bigfooting, pick up voices when we leave recorders out at night, to pick up any vocals. We'll hear voices that that comes out. And as a matter of fact, earlier this year, a friend of mine, he got someone saying nobody, and it was just plain as day, and that's also just nobody.
Well, it makes sense though, right? Because there used to be settlers all over.
Right. It's been resettled over and over.
Yeah, and before them, Native Americans. I mean, just because something looks uninhabited doesn't mean it wasn't at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we've talked about, Joe. Yeah, exactly. Because like things grow over, old homesteads and Native Americans. We didn't just come here, in a certain year. There's always been people here.
Yeah.
So,
and the land reclaims all that area very quickly. I mean, without humans there to habitate an area, I mean, even within a year, you could lose a whole lot of material to the land.
Well, that's just like
That's why, like when I go in the woods, even when I go to the same location, I'm always marking where I'm going, because the landscape changes so much. Because I mean, just like Semi Forest, it loves the rain. I mean, all the shrub and all the brush just grows so quickly. You can't recognize anything, from one month to the next.
Bigfoot hiking. That's interesting.
But there is a whole lot of people into looking for Bigfoot in Canyon Lake.
I went in 2019 to a spot off the Guadalupe River that was in the Guadalupe. It was actually on private property, like 26,000 acres. And and a guy had 2 experiences out there. with the Bigfoot. Yeah. Canyon Lake's a pretty active area, and it was
Yeah.
actually it was right off of Guadalupe. He actually has a house out there, and he took me to the end, and we had to cross. It was neck deep, but it was pretty cool. This is some of the stuff that we all do to follow our passion. I think people who there's a lot of people who listen to these podcasts and they don't realize what people go through, what we put ourselves through.
We've been at a
Mhm.
property before, and we realized that this room didn't quite match up. Like that, there had to be a hidden space. So to figure it out, I was like, "I'll climb the roof. It's cool." And she's like, "Get out of there!" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna find this."
I'm the idiot that like threw myself over the baker wall and
Oh,
broke
yeah.
my arm. So I mean,
Oh my goodness.
we've all done
Yeah, it was
really
bad.
crazy stuff in the name of trying to chase
Yeah.
our passion.
We were in the ER all night, and then the next morning we were back up to do something else. And
I
was just
refused to go home.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not going home. We paid for this. We're not going.
Yeah,
Oh.
all
With
wrapped
my
up.
arm wrapped up in a sling. I just refused.
But
This is my
besides the paranormal events, we also do provide services to homeowners. If they have an entity that they want handled, we actually provide that service for free. We'll come out, we'll do the research portion of it, we'll present the evidence to you, and then we will talk about a plan to cleanse the property and how they can handle that on their own going forward.
You answered my question. I was going to ask if y'all do residentials and stuff like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've actually already done some.
We do.
Helping people is very important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very important to it. A lot of other groups will charge for that service, and we don't. And we also won't. If the homeowner, if the family in question, if they don't want that made public, then that's kept confidential. The evidence never gets posted. It's just between us and them, and we have made some very close friendships that way.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I like about this genre. I guess you could call it, especially with the big three, is what I call it, the Bigfoots, paranormal, UFO / alien stuff. I've made a lot of good friends in doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're gonna have to show him the alien foot.
oh yeah.
Yes, you're going to have to now.
Yeah.
I
You can't just put that out there and then not show me.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna have to show you. If you can tell me what it is, because I've stared at it for 3 years trying to figure it out, I'm
Okay.
more power to you.
yeah, I would love to see it.
That's cool. We'll have to show him that. See if he can figure it out.
So, what do you guys have coming up next? You guys have any events coming up?
Oh my gosh! Right now we're deciding. There's a whole handful of them all. We're all debating. We may end up back in Louisiana. We were also talking about Vicksburg, giving Yorktown a go again since it was so cold last time. I really feel like that was left unfinished, and I need to go back. And some of the other properties. So I'm not sure yet, but whatever we decide to go do, we'll be sure we let everybody know on our page.
Yeah. We try to keep everybody updated on what we're doing.
I highly recommend. It's in Montana and it is a little far, but the Dumas brothel.
Yeah, I've heard
That
of it.
is, I mean, I was just like, because sorry, there was so much going on at once.
Gross.
Hairball?
See, no, Joe, you're such a jerk. Anyways. Yeah, distraction. No, the Dumas brothel is really cool. There's activity going nonstop. The old mining town. There's a lot of history, but I'm doing an event there. I'm flying out Thursday, and I'll be there till Sunday. But they have the Cabbage Patch Shantytown right next door to it. So we're gonna do like a combo thing: 3 hours here, 3 hours there, in 2 different teams, and then let people free investigate either one after that point on. And I highly recommend anyone going up there to the Dumas brothel. It is. Those spirits want to communicate with you, and they are happy you are there. Well, most of them are, but yeah, it's just like. Have you ever investigated a brothel before besides Old Park?
Yeah.
So you know how the energy like there is. They in life they entertained. They wanted to show you a good time, and it's just kind of like the same there. But yeah, it's pretty epic up there. I'm trying to get everyone to go up there. It's awesome. It's worth the trip.
We'll have to check that out.
We've come across a lot of entities that they really just want their story told. They
Yes,
want,
exactly.
They want info out there, and they want to show you how they live their life. And
Right.
You know, we're there to capture it on camera.
Yeah,
We are.
exactly.
So I don't know. Have you run across a place that's like truly scared you yet? Like with a lot of activity, have you experienced that yet?
Not really scared. I like to get scared. It's like I do. I like to get scared. It's almost like the adrenaline rush. There's been things that like, and then like, oh, did you see? That just happened. I did. There was one moment at Hill House where I was upstairs and there were some people downstairs on the monitors. Everybody else was gone because they had it for the weekend, and we were waiting for the next crew to come in, next group. And I'm upstairs walking around, and I feel something almost massively winged, like this is how I was felt, like over me, over my shoulders, and just towering over me, like, and I mean, I felt breathing on my neck, and I was hugging the wall going around because I was scared of the staircase because of a girl I was there with got pulled down the staircase a few hours before that. So I actually was like, hey guys, can y'all come up here? I was Facebook Live at the time too, and he pops his head up and then goes right back down. I'm like, no, I mean, like, I need somebody up here with me. But no, I was actually, honestly, that probably is the most scared I was because I felt whatever that was right over me and leaning and towering over and trying to intimidate me was its purpose. I got down that staircase and it took a while for me to go back up until I kind of grounded myself again and everything. But yeah, that was pretty.
I don't think we ever have, really.
No, not really. But I feel like one of the things that we get asked the most is what is our opinion on why entities stick around after death, right? Like, why are there ghosts? And I always tell people, we try not to sway people's opinions on things, even on evidence. We'll present it on our page and we let people decide what they see or what they hear. Right. And so when they ask us these kind of questions, I'll tell them, well, this is my opinion on it, but I honestly have no idea because we won't know till we die.
Right. Every case is different. Every spirit is different. Their story, why they're there. Some have other dark entities trapping them. I mean, there's so many different reasons and stuff. I mean, there's no storybook text on why a spirit is here. Each individual one is just so many different reasons.
Yeah.
But that's why we research. That's why we go in, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I couldn't imagine stopping doing this. It becomes
we run around like we're little kids.
That's the best part. Well, I mean, and for us, it's the history too, as well. It's not just the spirits. I mean, these buildings have been around for, gosh, some of them hundreds of years, and a lot of them are just getting destroyed by the elements. So I think a part of what we do helps to preserve those locations because it enables them to take care of them. So just tracing the history on these places before we go is amazing.
She just reminded me when we were at Yoakum for the first time, we're walking around with our flashlights and I was like, why is this room like a foot? Like you walk in and then the floor goes up like a foot. And I'm standing and I'm like, Jennifer, is there green carpet in here? And we look and she's like, oh, honey, you're standing on mold.
Yeah.
And that's how thick it was. The mold layer
was
like that high.
Jeez.
And that whole room, the roof right there had caved in and it was very wet. And every time there had been rain, it was just constantly getting soaked. And the mold just it looked, I kept calling it the jungle because once we looked up at the ceiling, there was mold strands like dangling down.
But I think some of what we do helps them to be able to repair those things. So that's a really nice thing to know, that you're helping to preserve stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been to investigations where didn't really get any activity, but it was such a cool, I love urban exploration. I mean, just being able to go and see these old, places from 1800s, early 1900s, or even way older, and just getting in there. It don't always have to be haunted for me. I just like to feel the history, because I can feel the history of a place without it being, haunted.
Well, it's like we tell everyone as well. I mean,
they don't always feel like interacting.
You can go to a haunted location and sit there for 8 hours and nothing's going to happen. I mean, we truly believe that I mean, you have to visit the same location multiple times. And as you do that, whatever resides there gets to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And they become more comfortable and things become more relaxed. And then that's when you start getting the amazing evidence.
Yeah. Like Old Park,
Yeah.
I've probably been there 20 times, and it's just like, it's always something new. I have a question. Okay. The boiler room downstairs at Old Park on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any experiences in that room? It's something Tiffany and I had happen, and okay, Tiffany and
I think that's where that apparition in the hall was caught, right next to that room.
Because we were sitting in the blue chairs up against the wall, and all of a sudden we see this almost, those wind socks that advertise,
right,
that blow around, with something almost like that, but in a shadow figure form, was kind of slithering and moving back, and we saw it when it is dark in there, but a little bit of light from that window, and I'm like, Tiffany, and it kind of got in my face and went around, and I'm like, it's moving over there, and she was like, all of a sudden she turned the flashlight on, get out of my face. But we go in there now and spend time, and just the energy seems a little bit calmer every time, as far as with that interaction with that spirit. But the last time I had an event there, we were all sitting in that room up against the wall and in the chairs, and we were all looking at the door, and we all seen the same thing. It's like the door kept getting closer and further away, and we're like, what the, actually, yeah, it's because we're all seeing it. We're not tripping. Like the door seemed like it was kind of getting bigger and smaller, and then it was just, one girl was so scared, she put her arms around Tiffany and was clawing her legs and started crying. But to see something like that, that's why I was wondering if, I've been asking people a lot lately if they've had any experiences there. So I'm going to put a lot more focus this next time around to that room.
House Museum in Floresville.
We have not, but I would like to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard of that one?
I believe so. I believe it's on my list, to be honest.
I think I've heard about that one through a company. Yeah, I think I have heard about it, but I haven't been there. No, I haven't.
Talking about Old Park, though, the first time we went there, I had told Connie, right? I had told her that there is something there that kind of sneaks around the whole hotel, and that people might see it as like a cloud of smoke or something, real black. And she was like, yeah, we've heard that from so many people. And then she showed me this photo that somebody had sent her of, it looked like a little cloud with two like little red eyes.
Yeah.
We actually have a lot of evidence that we don't share.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when you catch something that's just really amazing, you tend to baby it. And we do that with a lot of our evidence. So, but we actually have 2 pieces of evidence from 3. We caught the little boy standing next to the dresser on the 2nd floor. And that was just, I'm pretty sure, I almost cried when I saw that because it was just amazing. Then we had that shadow figure downstairs in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then the thing on the stairs with Chelsea. So, we've had, and she sees that thing running around. I don't see it. I feel it, but he's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that place is, I think it's a very active location, and
it's ever changing too. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But in those small towns like that, I personally believe that ghosts can kind of travel within a certain range. And so sometimes you kind of have it almost seems like they're coming and going,
Yeah.
Or visiting from next door.
Yeah, the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've told Shannon this, but my dad passed away in 2012. I think he hung around me for quite a while, maybe up until about 2019. But this includes when I moved out near San Antonio for a couple of years in Universal City. You guys know where that's at? Yeah, I lived there for a couple of years, from 2017 to 2019, and I think he was there with me. So, and what was weird was that one time I was we had a townhouse, and I was throwing some clothes down to my daughter. She was on the bottom floor, and I was like, "Here, throw this in the washer."
Right.
And I had a light switch that was right next to me against the wall, and it just flicks on, just flick. The light comes on, and I'm like, "Man, what the hell was that?" So a couple of years later, I wind up moving back here to Houston, And I'm telling my mom, I said, yeah, I said, I think, Dad follows me around. I think he was with me in San Antonio. As I'm talking to her, I'm standing in the kitchen and the light switch comes on in the kitchen, just the same way, just flicks right on. So I
Yeah.
kind of feel like that was my dad buzzing around me a little bit, just kind of watching out for me. That's
Yeah,
pretty.
I've had that experience with my grandfather. He passed away a few years ago, and I've seen him. There was, when you see the paranormal, sometimes what I describe it as is like you're a lighthouse in the dark. So the dead are just attracted to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even at my personal home, I can do cleansings and put up little barriers and things like that. And it has to always be redone, right? But they will just keep coming. And there have been times I've walked into my hallway and I walk through someone, and it startles you, and then it's like, okay, this is a dead person. But I've seen I was walking through my house one day, and my son, he had his headphones on, he's playing his little video game, and I saw all of a sudden, it was very clear, it was my grandfather, and he had this white light around him, and he looked at me and he smiled, and then he walked towards the back of my son, and he just put his hand on his shoulder and then disappeared. And that for me is really touching because
Yeah, it's a special
I,
moment.
Yeah.
yeah, and I still haven't, I haven't processed that death. That was really hard. And I just kind of pretend he's still alive. So when I have these little moments, it stops me and I'm like, oh, right. He's not here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think my dad's around anymore, but when I think back to those days, it kind of gets emotional.
But
So
maybe his spirit felt like you needed him still.
I did. I
Mm-hmm.
did.
And
That's it.
maybe he moved on when he felt like you were ready and
Right.
you
You
could.
were okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what happened too.
Yeah.
If I start talking about it, I'll get emotional. So we
Yeah.
won't talk about
But I
it.
feel like that's a gift. Even one of the families we've helped, once we were doing the research portion and I started giving her the information, she was like, "Oh my God, it's my father."
Mm-hmm.
and and then at that point I was like, "Do you want me to get rid of the entity?" Because she had multiple entities, but she was very clear. She was like, my description of him, the way he was talking and behaving, she said, "That's my father." And she was like, cleanse everything else, because there was a second portion to it where her main house wouldn't be affected, and so we cleansed what she wanted us to cleanse, and we left her father in peace. So she was like, "I'll put up with them." She's like, I now I understand who it is. She's like, "My father's always been grumpy, so we'll just deal with it."
There you go. Well, hey guys, we're running up on our hour. I want to ask you guys: you guys have any advice for somebody who wants to get into this field?
Just stay curious.
Stay curious.
Yeah.
Connect with people who are willing to share, teach you, bring you into the fold, treat you like family, and do a lot of studying on your own. I mean, curiosity is the biggest thing, and that's how we started. I mean, you Google one thing on the internet and you go down a rabbit hole of information, and if you keep looking and keep asking questions, you'll find your answers out there. And connect with good people who will take you and help you to develop what you want to do. That is the biggest piece of it all, because not everybody's willing to do that.
Not everybody's willing to teach you even how to use your equipment.
Right.
Or has good intentions for you, so
Correct.
Yeah.
So I mean, just surround yourself with good people who are willing to help you learn and give you the proper tools to do what you need safely, of course.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And what about how people how can people get a hold of you guys if they would need to?
They can IM us through our Dark Hallows page. We also have a website. They can go onto our website and email us.
That's www.darkhallowsparanormal.com. We also have darkhallowsparanormal@gmail.com. And then our Facebook is the little URL portion of it is Dark Hallows HQ.
And because I'm an empath and she deals with, what do you deal with, Megan?
I don't really put so much of a title to it. Like I am an empath, but I don't like saying I'm a medium or anything like that. I just tell people, like, I see dead people, I can communicate with them.
And she's done a lot of research as far as crystals go and everything else. So we're actually getting ready to open a metaphysical store here in the next couple weeks.
Nice.
Yay! I love that.
Yes, so you can go on and buy protective crystals.
And we, just because from our own shopping experiences, we want things that are high quality.
High quality.
Yes.
Everything's going to be top quality, and we're not going to be doing the crazy markups that a lot of these stores do. So
any questions, anybody wants to ever go with us, wants to hang out, wants to learn, just give us a holler. We're more than happy to.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys come here to East Texas, you got to let me know.
For sure.
Yeah. You got to pass through Houston, so I'll catch you.
All right. I have some friends up there, so we'll come visit.
Yeah, and I want to see that alien foot too.
I will remind us, and I will send you the picture so you can see it.
Shannon, you got anything?
No, I enjoyed meeting you ladies. I like to talk to someone else that does events and everything. That's why I was kind of picking your brain a little bit as far as, how you enjoy it and everything, because it's so much fun. But it was nice to talk to you. I'd like maybe we could end up, come one of your events and everything and hang out and rub elbows a little bit.
Sure, no problem. Just
like-minded people. I love it. So absolutely.
If you guys ever want to go Bigfooting, let me know. I've
been waiting. He ain't taking me nowhere.
You got to come down.
Let's see what that's about.
You don't always just do it down there. You do it other places. You've told me you would take me, and you've never taken me. So just kidding. All right.
Well, cool, guys. That's it. Everyone in the chat room, man, thanks a lot for your participation.
Thank you.
I always appreciate that. And you girls have a good night.
You too. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial
Day. Hey, thanks for your service again.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.